Hello, how you doing? I need a break from fighting with the Steam Deck. I've been doing that since I got home. But I got the Basara English patch working on the Steam Deck, which is pretty damn awesome. I might switch to that in a little bit. I don't even know where that save is anymore. I don't really care. There's a 100% save file in the Discord, so if I really wanted it, I could just install that. I'm not really too concerned about it. It's enough of an ordeal to get it on the deck in the first place. I just don't feel like fighting with anything else tonight. It's a pretty long process. Yeah, custom with all the Smash Brothers shit removed. So no more hazards. Basically just Streets 4. It was like, they made it like Smash Brothers. Whenever they play those games competitively, they just turn off all the stupid party stuff, the random stuff. That's what my custom survival's like. I want to practice the new combos and stuff, but just make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, they nerfed my character, but he can still do cool stuff. He did get some new things as well, so they didn't completely neuter him. They did neuter him quite a bit, but he's still good. You just kind of have to change how you play, so... He still has like 4 infinites, by the way. People have already found them. I learned one of them. Yeah, much better than it was. Just getting a ton of stars. 15 stars. No, version 8 was not out on anything. They completely fucked up the mobile version. The mobile version was the foundation that they used to build the mobile version. Was the version that I was beta testing back before the character DLC came out. And I could tell because one of the changes that I suggested, which was to make his character's... Hold on. Make that move OTG, that axe kick that he does. I was the one that suggested that to be be an OTG because it originally wasn't. So when I bought the mobile version, that was the first thing I noticed that wasn't there. So I told people like, yeah, I have proof. For some reason they used beta files as their foundation. It took them ages to fix it. It wasn't actually on version 7, it was on beta. Like, how do you screw that up? Like, how do they even have access to that? I could acutely tell just because I was the one that suggested that change, so that means that the code base or whatever, the files they used to build the mobile port was from the beta, which I can't even fathom how you make a mistake like that. That version was never available to the public. No one publicly had that version. The mobile version had a lot of problems. It's in a pretty good spot now. There was a lot of copium back when the mobile version came out. People were expecting it to have version 8. I'm like, no, it doesn't even have version 7. It doesn't even have version 7. It's running a beta build for some unknown reason. The company that ports all the like console games to mobile, they make a lot of really stupid mistakes. The ports are good, but their quality control is questionable at best. Because the same thing happened with Dead Cells, which is ported to mobile by the same people. The D-pad didn't work on Dead Cells for like a month. I'm not making that up either. Couldn't use the D-pad to control the character for like a month. The last major update they did before the one that just came out for Dead Cells, which had all the crossover stuff, D-pad didn't work. It took them like a month to fix it. That's basic functionality. I have less empathy when it's something that should just work. How do you not catch that? Their ports are pretty good if you like the game on mobile. It's just if anything goes wrong with it, don't expect it to be fixed in a timely manner. It doesn't matter how minor it is. River City Girls 2, I think, still does not run at 60 FPS on console. It's been out for like 4 months now. Just complete... I don't know what the hell went on with that game. It's a good game. I enjoyed my playthrough. Actually, I played through it like 3 times. But the state that game is in is not good. I can imagine how pissed people are that a 2D pixel art game is playable on PS5 and Series X. That runs at like barely 30 FPS. I think definitely an instance where gamers aren't entitled. They're entitled to the game running at least 60. Current gen should be able to run that game at like 144. Like, come on now. Yeah, they completely botched that release. It's taking them forever to fix it, too. I would not recommend that game for base price unless you're playing on PC. The only good version of that game right now is PC and by proxy Steam Deck. I tested it on Steam Deck. It actually runs. It runs fine with the beta patch to unlock the frame rate. But any other version, do not buy it. Yeah, the physical versions as well. That was the other thing with that game. That's why I tell people it's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you were a kid in like the late 80s, early 90s. Physical versions of games are useless now. They really are. The one exception is like if the game is like guaranteed to not get any more content or bug fix patches. Like, they really are useless. A lot of people don't want to accept that, especially because people that were born around the same time I am have like disposable income to buy collector's editions of games and stuff. They're useless because games don't come out actually functional anymore. I have the physical version of this game for Switch from Limited Run Games that I bought just because I beta tested it and I wanted it for just posterity. It's useless. For actual archival purposes, it's useless, because it's on version 5. It's on version 5. There's been like 2 updates since then, so it serves no purpose outside of just sentimental value. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but it is true. Pretty much as soon as they started patching games and adding content to them, they become more and more useless. They're not worth the effort. That's the thing, you own a version of the game that can't be updated. They have to print another copy. Which they have done. They did that for this game. They did a anniversary edition for this that has version 7. Battle for the Grid as well. I think they made a copy of that with all the DLC. But even then, Battle for the Grid got like one more balance update after that, so it's still useless. It's less useless. But still, like, not really worth the effort of buying it. It's just hard for people to accept because people that were born in the 80s or early 90s have disposable income to buy frivolous stuff like that. But no, it really is frivolous. It's useless. So I don't really care about physical stuff anymore. At least for console. Like, I dumped my copy of Streets of Rage 4. I have, like, a permanent copy of that on my hard drive. I dumped my own legal copy. Other than that, it's completely useless. I have a physical copy of Fight Rage as well. He's only updated that game like twice since the physical version got approved, but that's not as bad as something like this. That's why copies of Destiny 2, you see like Wario 64 tweet that they're like $2. All they're good for is just a case. You want to put something else in there. You got some old game, you don't have the box for it anymore. Like, what good is a physical copy of Destiny 2 now? Nothing. The game is still active. It's not like it's shut down. It's still a popular game, but like, what version of the game is that disc running on? Probably like launch from like 5 years ago. Functionality-wise, it's completely useless. I had somebody come in here said he wanted to copy a physical version of Breath of the Wild. I'm like, the new Breath of the Wild, whatever it's called. It's called Tears of the Kingdom. Like, all it's good for is just dumping the game and run it on emulator, because that game's gonna run at like 10 FPS on the Switch. It's gonna be a completely awful experience. That's all the physical version's good for. Okay, you've got a permanent legal copy of it, and you can play on emulator. If your computer ever gets wiped or you lose your Switch, you'll still have access to the game. Legally, too. Other than that, it's pointless. You know, that game's gonna get a ton of patches and post-launch content, too. It's hilarious how much better the Steam Deck is than the Switch. Like, that thing is a beast. The Aya Neo 2 is like even better than the Steam Deck. It's obviously like double the price, but it's embarrassing. Nintendo's got to step it up. They should be able to get something on par with the Steam Deck for like around the same price. They need to. I don't buy games on Switch anymore. Unless it's something I can emulate, like the Kamen Rider game. That Kamen Rider game I played, Memory of Heroes. I bought that just to dump it. I bought it just to dump it, because it runs at 60 FPS on emulator with the code. The mod that was made. Like, don't even buy Switch games anymore. That thing's been collecting dust. Yeah, there's scumbags for charging $70 for the new Zelda. Maybe the game itself is $70 quality. I'm sure it will be. It's not the kind of game I would play, obviously, but I'm sure it'll be a good game, but $70 is like AAA, you know? That's what you pay for, like, Hogwarts Legacy, Forspoken, RE4 Remake, like, big games that actually run well. Well, except for Hogwarts and Forspoken, but you know what I mean. They're charging more for it on the same hardware that obviously is not going to be able to run a game of that scope. Can't run a game of that scope. That's not worth the price hike. If it was launching on like new hardware, I could see that being worth the money. But nope, same crap hardware.
Final crash.
I have one physical game that, it's not that I regret buying it, because they're like some of my favorite games, but I have a physical copy of Ninja Warriors once again. That game got one minor bug fix. So like, for preservation's sake, it was worth the money. Especially because that game is still not on PC for some reason. It's console exclusive. That's like the one physical game I have that I could play it like 30 years from now on an emulator. And I wouldn't be like missing anything because I don't have like a major content or bug fix update. That's like the one physical game I have, but that's not the case. They did not add anything to that game. They did a bug fix. I couldn't even tell you what the hell that fixed, because that game is really well made. They actually cared about delivering a functional product, unlike a lot of other bigger games. Yeah, I could play that in like 2070 or something, when I'm like 80, and it would have like same value. Most physical games now, you cannot say that. I've heard that they might announce a new Switch this year. There's been some pretty grounded in reality rumors that they will. I just hope it's a sizable upgrade, because that thing can barely handle indie games at this point. River City Girls 2 doesn't count. That's something's wrong with the code of that game. But like other indie games, you can like barely run them, like pixel art stuff. They'll port Skyrim again for the 50th time. I'm honestly surprised they're not doing what they've done with the last couple Zelda games, which was put it on last gen and then have a current gen version, because they've done that. They've done that with the past couple. They did that with Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword. No, not Skyward Sword. Twilight Princess. They did that with that game. They put it out on GameCube just because people were pissed at how long it was taking that game to come out. It was like one of the last high-profile games for the GameCube. But the Wii version was out like the same time. Twilight Princess got delayed for ages. I didn't really care. Kind of over Zelda at that point, but yeah, that game got delayed so much that they had to make like a Wii version for it. They knew they were going to be in hot water if they made that Wii exclusive after they promised it as a GameCube game like years prior. The Wii version of that game sucks anyway because it's a launch title, so they really force the dick waggling of the remote on you. It makes the game less fun to play in like pretty much every way. When they did Skyward Sword, they kind of built it around the remote, but Twilight Princess was obviously clearly designed for not motion controls. That's why people liked Skyward Sword, because it was actually built around the remote. Twilight Princess was not. It's pretty much just so they had something resembling a big game. We launched with no Smash, no Metroid. There was no Mario. The Wii launch lineup was pretty barren in terms of like actual first-party stuff. They had like Wii Sports and Twilight Princess, which is basically just a half-assed upgrade port that they threw out. They crapped out. Smash wasn't for like another 2 years. Mario wasn't for a year. Mario Galaxy was a year later. Prime 3 was like a year and a half later, I think. Maybe a little bit longer. They had a really bad launch, I think. Yeah, it's crazy the hype that they had for the Wii. That's like the worst launch lineup they've had since the N64. They had nothing. They really banked on just non-gamers buying it, which was obviously one of the biggest successes of the Wii. So they had like casual games that like older people and younger people who are non-gamers could play. In terms of core games, they had jack shit. Pretty much nobody plays the Wii version of Twilight Princess because the motion controls are like really just tacked on. I wonder how many months it took them to do that. Probably like barely any time. Like, well, we've taken so long to make this game that the next generation console is out. Oh, we're just gonna take a month and shoehorn. It's gonna take a month and shoehorn motion controls into it randomly. That was a pretty good run. I like having no hazards. That was enjoyable. Yeah, I had a friend who had the Wii at launch. He had Wii Sports and Twilight Princess, and we remember we were laughing at how obviously half-assed it was. It's a nice gesture that they still put that out on GameCube, but that's the only one that's worth playing. That or the HD one that they put out a couple years ago. Just like a lot of the early DS games force you to use the touchscreen for like unnecessary things because they're trying to really push the gimmick. Dawn of Sorrow is a very good example. Having to make the seals. You have to draw the seals to kill the bosses. And at no point do they ever tell you in that game. The timer is infinite until you put your finger or the stylus on the screen. That's what makes that whole mechanic way worse. Never at any point are you told that. It makes you think that you have to like quickly bust it out and draw. You don't. You can leave it on that screen all day. It's only until you actually put something on the surface of the screen when the timer goes down. That's why there's mods that just remove that, because it doesn't add anything to the game. It's probably mandated by Nintendo, because that was like one of the bigger games that they had at launch. Launch window, at least. I don't think it was out at launch, but very shortly after, it was a couple months. They probably got told by Nintendo to put that in. That's why there's the ROM hack for that removes it entirely. All touchscreen gimmicks are removed. Definitely the best way to play that game. I remember wiping the bosses so many times because I would try to like hastily put out the stylus to do it. I don't know why they never tell you at any point that you have infinite time to pull it out. It's not like trying to unsheath a katana or something. But they don't fucking tell you that. Such a stupid mechanic. It's pretty obvious they were forced to put that in, or really, probably strongly suggested to put that in, because the other two Castlevania games on DS don't have that stuff. Can be played, like, pretty much without the touchscreen. Clean combo. I'm adapting. I'm adapting. That was pretty clean. I dropped it once there, but that was pretty solid. Adapting to the patch. Oh yeah, version 4 of Streets 4 is pretty rough. It's embarrassing how bad Axel is. Axel is like by far the worst character. Fell asleep now? Then go to bed. I'm not doing anything interesting. And go to bed. I'm gonna be going to bed shortly too, because I gotta do some trip prep. Word on the street is he's pretty good. I think Axel players are generally happy. Some of them aren't happy. But they also have like 800 hours in this game, so depends on what you, how much weight you put and stuff like that. It's like people that don't like remakes for games because they've speedran the original game for like 10 years or something. Resident Evil 4 is going to be another example of that. That game looks pretty good, but people are going to have nitpicks and stuff just because they've been playing it for so long. They have like thousands of hours in it. Obviously their opinion does hold weight, but maybe not need to like take it as gospel, you know. Like, I don't like some things about the Ninja Warriors remake, but I still enjoy it. It's just I played that game a lot as a kid. I was able to notice the minute changes and stuff that they made, but it's still a good game. No, their track record with Resident Evil remakes is pretty good. They've had one stinker, which was the one they did for Resident Evil 3, but that was just because they got the B team to make that game because they wanted to crap it out fast after the 2 remake, which obviously had like way more effort and accuracy put into its development. It's just weird to me because I didn't really play those games, so I just know that Resident Evil 3 was already pretty much an asset flip already. Like, how are you still cutting content out of that game? Probably like a good like 40-50% of it was recycled assets from RE2. You just kind of built like half a game around it because they wanted that game out fast. PS1 was on the way out by that point. They wanted another Resident Evil game, but they didn't want like a full dev cycle. Like, why are you cutting stuff out of that game? Like, it should be a lot easier to remake than 2. $115? Where does it cost $115? Talking about collectors? I'm not seeing how it's 115 bucks. Is that for the collector's edition? Holy shit. Did they not do regional pricing? They're supposed to do regional pricing. What the hell, man? That's like almost double the price. That's insane. I'm sorry to hear that. Gotta love when they don't, they basically just say that they don't want money from people who don't live in America or Europe when they do shit like that. What a bunch of scumbags. That's not cool, man. And then they put Denuvo on it so you can't pirate it. You know, when they do shit like that, it's basically just encouraging people to pirate it. It's been countless games where they've done that. They don't region price it, and then they wonder why people are pirating it. I'm like, well, you're not making it affordable. They haven't learned from like the music industry and movie industry where it's like, yeah, if you just make this like $6 to buy the album or the movie, or even just rent the movie, like people won't bother pirating it because it's easier to just get the legal thing, the legal version. And when you price people out so that they can't even fucking afford it, like obviously they're gonna pirate it. They're gonna pirate it or like try to get a used copy or something. They don't see any money from either of those things. Like, what the hell are you trying to do? Why don't you just make it affordable for everybody according to their region? Denuvo sucks balls too. Denuvo encourages people to pirate as well because it fucks with the performance. All it really does is just makes it like impossible to pirate for a while. It just like protects the launch window of the game, like when it makes the most money because it's the full $60-$70. That's all it does. But then past that point, it just fucks over people who actually paid like legal money for it. Anyway, I'm done for tonight. I gotta do some stuff in the afternoon. I gotta get ready for my trip, so I'll probably do a Steam Deck stream at my neighbor's house. No, inflation's not it. They're saying they don't care about your region. That's what it is. They would make more money if they actually gave it an affordable price for your region. According to like the average minimum wage. But like when you make it like half of what somebody makes at a minimum wage job, then of course nobody's gonna buy it. Like if you have to choose between eating and having a roof over your head and buying one AAA video game, the actual functional adult is gonna choose the former. They're gonna choose survival over buying the game. That's pretty sad. A lot of the Japanese companies don't embrace that stuff. That's why it's good to try out indies, because indies tend to be cheaper by default. But then they also do regional pricing as well, so it's more affordable for people that don't live in like just the richest countries. 70% more, that's nuts. Yeah, I know in like South America it's like a big deal to like even get a Switch. That's why Switch piracy is so crazy. Switch piracy is so popular just because the taxes that you have to pay in places like South America just to get one. It's probably a better investment to just upgrade your computer and just emulate the damn thing because they don't want to make it affordable. And then they complain about people pirating the games. It's like, well, you're pricing them to the point where they want to do that. Remember when the corporations hated Napster? They complained about people pirating music in movies. I'm like, well, first off, it's mostly kids that are doing it, right? I mean, I was a teenager when Napster was a thing. I pirated, episodes and stuff, and like music, game music and stuff. It's like, well, A, there's nowhere to buy this stuff legally, and B, I'm a teenager. I don't have any disposable income. Are you really losing money? No. You're not losing any money. But they got so up in arms over it, and then finally, when iTunes came out, it's like, yeah, the music sales like skyrocketed because you could just buy it from home and it was affordable, and it became easier to buy stuff legally, the music legally, than it was to pirate it. But the game industry is still kind of learning that that's why people pirate stuff. They don't pirate it because they want to, flip off the people who made the game, but it's more like it's not affordable. Or the game doesn't work at launch and they don't provide a demo. That's the other thing, too. So many PC games are like barely functional now. You can't really fault people for pirating it, especially if there's no demo. The refund policy on Steam and Epic Game Store is like it's not really an excuse to not have a demo because you still have to pay for the game full price. Like to get the money back and you only have like 2 hours. Of course people are going to pirate it. Like of course people are going to pirate it because you can't expect a game to work anymore. The days of like having a really good computer and just having the game fucking work at launch are long gone. This year's been abysmal for PC ports. And then they complain about people pirating. I'm like, well, you're not making something that's worth money. The game doesn't work. Wild Hearts, perfect example. I wanted to play that game and cover it, but it's $70. And I played the demo and I could barely run it on like a really strong computer. I'm not paying $70 for that. I'm not pirating it either, but I'm not paying for that. It's not worth the money. But yeah, the game industry has double standards. They like to bitch and moan about people from poorer countries pirating stuff, and it's like, well, you don't make it affordable. It's like everybody's entitled to entertainment, but you have to make it fucking affordable. Of course people are gonna pirate it. The Napster stuff was just hilarious. It's like, that 12-year-old that's pirating the NSYNC album or whatever that was out at the time. You weren't going to get any money from them anyway. They don't have money. When you make the album like $10 on iTunes and a kid can just save up lunch money and buy it, then like, suddenly the sales increase. And then they were so proud of how much money they were making. I'm like, well, all you did was just make it easier to pirate, so easier to buy it legally than pirate. But the game industry has been really slow to understand that stuff. They've gotten better, yes, but I feel like as a PC gamer, I would not hold it against anybody for pirating something just to see if it works, especially if there's no demo. There's like barely any AAA games have demos now. Wolong had a demo, and the RE4 remake does have one, but a lot of the other games don't. So it's either pray that you can find a benchmark on YouTube, like the ones that I do, and find something similar to what you have on your computer. Pray that you can find one that matches your computer and look for a video. Or pay $70 for it and basically gamble that it will work. Or that you can get it fixed before you can't refund it. Like, yeah, that's no shit. People are gonna pirate stuff like that. It doesn't make sense to not do it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I will be back. Probably when I do my shift at my neighbor's house. We'll play some more games from the Steam Deck. That was really fun earlier. I was having fun doing that. So we'll do more of that later. Good night.